Hey kids, Mr. Flan here, hope you're well. It's time to get serious about applying this stuff now that it's winter. We need to protect our bikes, so I'm going to apply some ACF50 using one of these puppies, a compressor. So stick around and stay tuned if you want to see how the professionals do it. So every year at about this time I apply ACF50 onto my bikes just because I think it's great stuff. There are other products available, but it keeps my bikes looking spangly clean. I normally use one of these, a little pump action device to apply it. I've made loads of videos about putting ACF50 on your bike. I'll put some links and some underneath this video and in the corners or something technical about how you apply ACF if you haven't got a compressor. But last year I got fed up because I have 4 bikes that I like to put ACF50 on. I thought actually I should really be doing this in a bit more of a professional way, and I noticed that the professionals that apply ACF50 use a compressor to do so. So I've splashed out on this thing. This is just a cheapo compressor actually. I got it from either eBay or Amazon. I'll look it up, and again I'll stick a link below where I got this from. It was about 120 quid if I remember rightly, and I actually bought this at the start of this year, basically the end of the last winter season. I haven't used it yet for the purpose for which I bought it, which is only applying ACF50, but I have found all sorts of other uses for it, from you know, drying bits of blowing stuff out the bike to cleaning my driveway of dried leaves. But the whole reason I bought it is to apply ACF50. It comes with various attachments, including this here spray can bottle thing. So you fill that red reservoir with the ACF50 in this form. This is the bulk buy type. I've talked about the kits for ACF50 before. Again, I'll stick a link below as to where you can buy that. And hopefully this thing, because it's powerful, is going to atomise the ACF50 better. So there we go. So I'm not an expert on using these. So this will be the first time I've used it for spraying. I may go horribly wrong, but the first thing is I've got to get out and clean my bike. Let me just show you the state the bike's in to start with. Okay, so here's the first spot. I'm going to do my trusty street triple. Now, have you ever seen my street triple looking as grungy as this? Check out this. So if you know me at all, you'll know that I love a clean bike. So obviously it pains me to see my pride and joy in this state. So job number 1, get out the bucket and sponge, give it a thoroughly good clean within an inch of its life. I've got to get out as much dirt as I possibly can before I start to apply the ACF50. So that's the job now, bucket and sponge time. Okay, now because it does need such a mega wash, what I'm going to do is do the standard bucket and sponge wash with the 2 bucket method. If you know what the 2 bucket method is, and I've got a video on that as well, I'll stick a link to it in the corner somewhere. So I'm going to give it a jolly good wash as I normally would, get as good a job as I can done on it. Then I'm going to get the jet wash out to get in all the nooks and crannies. Okay, now on a normal sort of weekend winter's wash, I would call that done. Got all the salt off and it's back to clean again, albeit not dried yet. But because I want to do a really thorough wash on this one, I'm going to give it another couple of stages. I'm going to get the brushes out and get in the radiator and try and get all the grit out from the season that I can there. And then I'm going to go and get the jet wash as well to make sure I get right in all the engine parts and get as much crap out as I can. Now normally I wouldn't bother with this brush section, but because it's quite harsh, but it does allow you to get into places that you can't normally get with just the sponge. So for a once off, for a really thorough clean, I do use the brush. Right, I'm pretty confident that's as clean as I can get it using conventional methods, using the brush and the bucket and sponge. So now it's a quick go with the jet wash. I wouldn't normally do this because you've got to be careful of seals and things like that, but it does allow you to get into parts of the engine that you wouldn't otherwise do. So as a one-off while I'm ACF50ing, I'm just going to give her a quick jet wash too, just to get in all those inaccessible parts. Right, I'm now confident that is as clean as I can physically get this bike without actually taking her apart. Next thing is to get her as dry as I possibly can. Feels like it might start to spit, so if that is the case, I might have to take her indoors for this bit. Okay, so trusty bike dryer for this one. I've got one of these things as a turbo blaster. You've seen me use this before. If you've not seen it before, you've not come across them, then again, I'll stick a link below where I got this one. I find it absolutely brilliant. Don't accept imitations that are lower power. This one's got heat and a really good blast, so I can get right in there and get everything absolutely bone dry. They are quite noisy though, so earplugs required. Okay, so this bike now is as clean and as dry as I can physically make it. I'm just hoping the rain is going to hold off so I can get the ACF50 on. One last little tip, just run the engine for a bit, get her nice and warm, and that way you make sure she's all dry from the inside as well, and that absolutely makes sure she's bone dry. Okay, so there we go. The bike is thoroughly warm, well, hot now and dry, as you saw. Steam coming out the radiator, temperature gauge at normal operating temperature, so everything's nice and dry, or as dry as I can get it. So what I've got to do now, get myself suited up, ready for the ACF50. I'll take the seat off the bike, and then I've got to kind of cover up the bits of the bike that you don't want the ACF50 on. So anything you touch, like the hand grips and the foot pegs, they need to be covered, and of course the tyres and brakes. So I'll crack on and do that, and then we'll get the compressor out. Okay, so everything that needs to be covered is now properly covered. Most important, the brakes and tyres, of course, and the bits you touch, as I say. Now I'm going to fill up the little reservoir with ACF50 from the bulk thing, and I'll get spraying, see how it goes. And just like as I did it before, if you've seen my previous videos on ACF50 application, I'll spray it on, then I'll use a cloth as well just to move it around a bit if I need to. All right, let's see how it goes. Well, disaster, as you saw. I've filled the ACF50 up into the reservoir. It's well, you know, where this pickup can actually get it, but when you spray it, nothing comes out, no atomisation whatsoever. I can only assume it's because it's quite gloopy, the ACF50, and needs a bit of thinning with something, but I don't know what you can thin it with, so really need your help there. What can I thin out the ACF50 with so that I can atomise it with the compressor? Because that's the whole reason I bought the compressor. So that's no good. So haven't gone to all that effort of cleaning the bike within an inch of its life. I'm gonna have to go back to the old-fashioned method and apply ACF50 manually, but what a nuisance. Any hints and tips gratefully received. Come on, don't you let me down. Haha, success. So there we have it, not quite the video I was intending making today. I was hoping to have a big thumbs up on what a great success the compressor has been, but that's going to have to wait till next time. So looking out for your advice in the comments as to what I can thin the ACF50 with, so I can use that on my other bikes. But all is not lost, because I have put ACF50 on the little Trump Street Triple. It looks absolutely beautiful again. When you apply it with the cloth and you wipe around the plastics as well, it brings everything up looking like absolutely new. So it looks really good. Not an entirely wasted morning's effort by any means, but I would like to get the compressor going. So any hints and tips, I'm all ears. All right, hope that's been of at least some comedic interest, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mist and Fly. Cheerio.